Hey, what's up, boys and girls? Today we're going to be doing something, pretty casual. We're going to be going over the Dev Thoughts number 19, Risk of Rain 2 in 2021. These are the latest Dev Thoughts, and these are talking about what we're going to be expecting in 2021 for Risk of Rain 2. This has implications for both Hopoo Games, the creators of the game itself, and also the 2 updates that they have planned in the future. The main reason I'm doing this video is because I keep getting asked about it in the stream, so I thought, hey, why not make this video and then everyone could get it in a centralized platform. Wow. So let's hop into it right now. So the first thing to note is that Hopoo Games is actually expanding. They talked about this in their latest dev update, I think, the one before this one. Which, by the way, we're going to be discussing the Dev Thoughts 18, which is the one I was just talking about, as this has a lot of implications for this current Dev Thoughts. Basically, in the last Dev Thoughts, Hopoo was saying how they had to cut a lot of content, they didn't get as much done as they wanted to, and they had a lot of restrictions since they were working with such a small team. In the previous Dev Thoughts number 18, if you want to look this up yourself, they said their main goal moving forward is to create a sustainable creative development for Risk of Rain 2 by expanding their team to see how far they can really take the game. Here, a couple months later, now we finally have expanded the team from the 3 to now 6, so they doubled their team size. Previously, it was Hopoo, who is, what Hopoo Games is named after. Then it was Paul the Goat, who is the Paul's Goat Hoof reference. And then Gore, who is the main programmer and is Gore's tome. So for these new 3 people, we have Ben, Nick, and Javid. From reading the descriptions, it appears that Ben is the programmer, and in fact, he looks like he's going to be the gameplay programmer. Nick, I'm not exactly sure, didn't really list it in their bio there. And Javid is an animator, so I assume he's going to be doing a lot of the 3D work. And I checked to see if there were any more job descriptions on the Hopoo game site, just to see if they were going to expand any further, and I don't think they are, as there are no current job openings. So this team of 6 is what you should expect for the Hopoo Games team going further on into 2021. Alright, so now let's look into the roadmap, because this is what most people have been asking me about, and I just want to give my opinion on it because I think I know what might happen. Call it a guess, a theory, whatever you want, because this is not based off of anything other than the fact that Hopoo has been leaving little trails of hints previously. Alright, for starters, we have the anniversary update. This is going to happen on the anniversary of Risk of Rain 2. This is going to be a free content update, and it's going to be like the main content updates we've had so far. We'll end up with a new survivor, a new boss, new items, some logbook entries, some more skill variants, etc, etc. The focus of this, according to Hopoo Games themselves, is to round out the game. So what we're going to have added is a bunch of quality of life changes and also a lot of improvements for certain things. For example, they're going to be adding run history plus profile stats, which is going to be pretty nice. We can now flex on our friends. And also figure out which one of us is the Drizzle Baby. Also, they're going to be adding internal changes to support modders. They've been talking about this for a while. So modders rejoice when the update comes out on March of 2021. You will have some improved modding support for ya. Can't wait to see what the modding community cooks up. So continue speaking on the anniversary update. Here's my theory on what I think the new survivor and the new boss will be. First off, this mentions that this anniversary update will be a little bit smaller compared to the other content updates, which is somewhat true as the other ones were like massive expansions. However, these are going to have, new survivor, new boss. It's going to be still pretty good. But what they've mentioned is that they're going to be revisiting some of the assets that they didn't get to use previously, like the grandparent boss and maybe even Bandit. 2 things that are actually in the game files but haven't been used. In fact, I think the Bandit mod that is out right now is only using the assets that are already in the game. So Bandit is basically a fully fleshed out survivor already. Also, I think there's a grandparent mod out there that also uses the grandparent assets. So I'm fairly confident that the new survivor will be Bandit and the new boss will also be grandparents. In the previous Dev Thoughts, number 18, they were talking about how the roadmap impacted other aspects in the game in a more negative way. Basically, what they were saying was to hit the milestones or the roadmap goals, they had to continuously cut out certain things, i.e. grandparent, bandit, various other elements of the game that they would have added, but they didn't have time because they were too busy dedicated to the roadmap. My belief is what they're going to be doing is using those old assets and putting them into this anniversary update. As they said in the last Dev Thoughts, the Sky Meadows boss was supposed to be the grandparent, so I believe that's what we're going to be having. And of course, with a unique boss, there's usually going to be a unique boss item. So think of whatever a grandparent could be, that's what we're going to have an item for. So that's about it for the anniversary update. Those are my predictions for what they might be releasing and just, everything about it. Cool. Now let's talk a little bit about this expansion, because this is going to be paid DLC that Hopoo plans to release, and it's going to be a major update. So for expansion number 1, near the end of 2021, Hopoo will be releasing their first ever paid expansion. The hope for this expansion is that it's big, aiming at around 2 to 3 content updates in size, and easily being the largest infusion of new content that Risk of Rain 2 has ever received. Those are their words, not mine. So take artifacts, Hidden Realms, and the 1.0 update, throw them together, and that's what they plan on having the expansion number 1 rivaling, at least in terms of size. Now, for anyone who doesn't know what quarter 4 of the year means, which is the release date that they plan on doing, that is usually October, November, and December. So in those months, that is quarter 4. So we're going to be waiting almost a full year for this update. In this update, they expect to have new survivors, plural. Notice that, new survivors, plural. That's something that they haven't actually done before. New bosses, plural again, as in they're doing multiple, which has also never been done before, I don't think. New enemies, which means a whole brand new enemy type, new items, new stages, new random events, which are very interesting. I don't know of any random events right now, unless they're referring to the events where only certain enemies can spawn in a stage. I'm not really sure what they mean by that, but I think it has to be along those lines. New interactables, which should be like Shrines of Chances, Blood Shrines, etc., etc. New elite types, which I'm very interested in seeing what they're going to do now. A new game mode, which could literally mean anything, as we have Eclipse, which is just a harder monsoon difficulty, or something like Trials, which is more scenario-based. A whole new item tier, which is going to be fascinating to experiment with. Might be tied in with a new game mode, who knows. New alternate final stage, new alternate final boss, new music, and more. Now, here's my theory on the whole new final stage and the new final boss. I've jokingly said that Providence and Mithrix are going to come together, do a fusion dance, and you're going to be playing against Providix. Now, that's my little theory, but a lot of people have been saying it could be Providence or New Kahanas. I actually don't think it'll either be mine or what other people think either. Because, and this is true, Hopoo has been leaving little hints about what the expansions might be about. And by little hints, I mean they mention it in passing in the last dev update. In dev update number 18, they say, afterwards, we plan on creating and selling expansions for the game. The goal for expansions is that they would be multiple content updates in size and would only occur 1 to 2 times a year. These expansions will most likely be themed. For example, we could have a Void expansion or an Imp expansion with new content built around that theme. So first off, their idea has changed since then, as the expansions being 1 to 2 times per year is not going to happen this year, as they're going to be doing this by quarter 4 of next year. Whether this means in 2022 we're going to get 2 content updates or they're going to stick to once a year, who knows. But the meat and bones of it is that they're planning on these expansions to be themed. I can't say for certain because they do say it will most likely be themed, but I have a pretty strong suspicion that the updates will be themed. Unless, of course, they plan on doing a non-themed first update to really get the ball rolling. But I highly doubt that. Let's get hyped for some themed gameplay. Let's get some Imp expansions in here. Ever since I heard that they're going to add paid expansions for this game, I've been wanting one thing and one thing only. An AI expansion where they create a summoner class. Now bear with me here. The expansion is they completely revamp the AI, so everything is a lot better. Healing drones, beetle guards, everything is just a lot better in the game. Once you get a companion like a beetle guard boss item, it won't be C tier anymore. It will be S tier. Aurelionite, he'll actually be worth it to get instead of just being like, oh, a gold portal, that's a way to burn money. And then they add a survivor that's based around summons, or at least AI companions. So if you got a beetle guard, you could do extra things with that beetle guard, or if you got more drones and whatnot, you could do more things with those drones. I don't know. That's my fan update. That's the fan update I would love to see. At the very least, I hope they do improve the AI, even if they don't do a summoner class or anything like that. But you know, that's my dream. If you guys have any ideas what you think that the first expansion is going to be, drop that down in the comments below. I'd love to see your theories or just in general what you want it to be. Hopoo Games has been a really good indie developer for a while now, so I'm sure if they see that a lot of fans want to see a certain thing, they might think about adding it. That is, if people aren't constantly pinging them on Twitter and annoying the hell out of them. So doing it in a healthy way is pretty pog. Let's do that. Anyway, those are my thoughts on the 2021 forecast for Risk of Rain 2, my thoughts on the anniversary update, the expansion number 1, etc., etc. I can already tell you I have no idea what the first expansion is going to be, but I've got my wallet ready. But that's it. Hope you guys have a good day, and see ya.